Hi group, thank you for joining my channel. My name is Machula, and today I want in this video to explain my spiritual journey. And what you'll learn about is specifically about myself. Why am I fascinated with spiritual topics? Why do I consider myself a spiritual teacher? Why did I choose hypnotherapy? And how you can implement these techniques, these teachings into making a better life for yourself. So let me go back to how I started. It all started in 2018, and what happened is my dad died. My dad was sick for some time. He had undergone some dementia. He passed away in 2018 after living over 83 years of age. He had a long life. He was an immigrant that came from Ukraine to Canada, a hard worker, a father, and a husband. And so when he passed away, I kind of felt his presence when we were traveling back to Winnipeg. I live in Winnipeg, Manitoba. And then over the next few months, he started to come to me in dreams. And the first dream that I had is him sitting in the swivel chair, circling and holding his grandchildren. These are my sister's kids. And he was giggling, he was having fun. Another dream I had is where he told me, "Hey, I never told my brother-in-laws that I loved them. Can you please pass this message along to them?" And a third experience I had is when he actually came in and he gave me a hug. And the hug felt so real. It felt like somebody was actually living giving me a hug. I woke up in tears. So I had a lot of questions at that time. And with those questions, I wanted to find out answers. Is this my dad? Who's talking to me? It felt like my dad. It was my dad's love energy, and yet I didn't have all the answers. Now, religious-wise and spiritual-wise, I was a Ukrainian Orthodox Christian believer, and I kind of looked at the church as a good place to pray. I had this funny habit of during sermons I would go to for coffee. I did not like bullshit. I really preferred just hearing the true word of God or what my heart would say. And I approached my pastor and I said, to him, "Who's coming to me in my dreams?" And his immediate response was the devil. And I said, "Well, this doesn't feel like the devil. And why would the devil come with messages of love? This doesn't make any sense." And so I got into this feeling of frequency. And I said to him, to give you an example, Ukrainian Orthodox Church pastors or reverends, as they're called, are married. So I asked him, "What does the love of your wife feel like?" And he explained that it was a romantic love and they were good friends and so forth. Then I asked him about the love of his children. And he said, "Well, yes, it's much different than the love to my wife. I'm their father, etc., etc." He then explained, I asked him about the love to the mother. And he said, "Well, it feels like this." And then I asked him about the love of his father, and he explained it. Then I asked him, "Well, what about the love of Jesus? What does that feel like?" And prior to that, we had this discussion about who was Jesus. And he told me Jesus was love. And I said, "Well, where is it located?" He said, "Well, of course, the heart." And I asked him that question, what does Jesus' love feel like? And he gave me a response of, "Well, learn the Jesus mantra." And I looked at him and I called him on his bullshit. And I asked him, "Father, you've never felt his love." And his face just fell. I realized that he never felt Jesus' love. And then I thought to myself, if you haven't felt his love, how can you stand at a podium and give sermons? On what basis, on what grounds are you giving these sermons? Are they just intellectual exercises for you? Are they morality exercises? Have you not been able to channel his love or even feel his love? And you've been a priest for over 30 years, so obviously what he was doing was not permitting him access to the true source. And for me, I understand the foibles of human nature, and so I thought, well, I need to find a way to connect. And this is where my path got interesting. I started reading, looking at other churches, looking at other religions, and then I started looking into the mystical world of esotericism. I even reached out to medium, and in this medium, immediately in discussing with her, my dad shows up. He comes in with a message that she wouldn't have known. I knew that. I felt that, and we started having long discussions. Then we started actually visiting many different churches, and we visited over 40 different churches looking for God and trying to find if God actually goes to church. And so we learned a lot about how God presents themselves in church, We learned about vortices. We learned how churches should be built, all from the information that the medium was able to provide. And while I'm having these discussions with the medium, she mentions to me that her guides are telling me to learn hypnosis, and specifically QHHT, which is a Dolores Cannon technique of past life regression. And so not even knowing what QHHT stood for or anything like that, I immediately signed up for this course. And that was my first hypnotherapy course. Subsequently, I started taking more and more courses in transpersonal hypnosis, in hypnosis for dementia. I took a course to get registered here with the Manitoba Society of Hypnotists or Hypnotherapists, and I'm so excited and passionate. So once I got registered with the Manitoba Hypnotherapy Association, I was passionate about basically the divine, doing these journeys, trying to connect. And I met a colleague of mine, and we found this book on spiritual journeys. And I asked her, would you like to do spiritual journeys with me? And so for that period of time where we were doing sessions for her and for myself, that was the greatest growth that we've ever experienced in terms of mental health and spiritual health. And in one of these sessions, we were supposed to visit the Temple of Healing, which had 3 rooms. And so I go up, and instead of going to the Temple of Healing, I end up in this place with many, many different rooms. And I'm going, this isn't the Temple of Healing. What is this place? And so I included an energy worker. I got a channeler together, and the 4 of us started to figure out what this place was. And we couldn't find in any written literature about this place. And this place, we found out, was to heal the heart. And what was happening is the divine was coming in and saying, we no longer want a pastor or a reverend or a person of religious significance to be between you and God, you and the divine, you and consciousness, whatever you want to call it. We want to basically be in touch with you. We want to guide the sessions. So what I'm doing now as a hypnotherapist is I'm taking my clients up to the Temple of Divinity, which I had the privilege of calling this place, and we permit the guides to guide you because they know you better than I would ever know you at all. They know you better than any psychologist could evaluate you, any psychiatrist, any psychotherapist. They know you because they know your soul and exactly what you need to heal. These are some of the most powerful therapies that I've ever participated in. It has opened my heart. It has expanded me. And on these grounds and with these teachings, what I want to do is share this with the world. I want to teach and mend hearts. And I found out what my mission in this lifetime is to heal people's hearts. So by utilizing this beautiful place in the 6th dimension called the Temple of Divinity, I as a hypnotherapist take you there. You have your own personal journey of healing where you're able to connect, where you're able to grow, where you're able to understand what your spiritual purpose in this world is. What is the greatest lesson you need to learn? And this place is absolutely huge. It has over 70 rooms that we've discovered. And I have taught already over 4 classes for people who want to be Temple of Divinity practitioners and learn how to take people up to this place for healing. So on these grounds, this is what I want to do is get this information out to the public, get this information out to you. I will be having meditations. I will be having sessions where you'll be able to explore and see how people react in this. And I'll also be making commentary on meditations and what works, what doesn't work for you and for myself. So thank you for joining this channel. I look forward to your participation and comments, and I'll be bringing you more content and more knowledge, spiritual knowledge for you to grow and develop.